What's up, everybody? A Sparrow with a Gun here from Sleepless Nights with another episode on the Space Engineers Inspiration series. We're starting things off today with the HMR Heavy Mining Rig. At least I think that's pretty close to the actual title. So this is actually a pretty cool ship, I guess, if you call it a ship, or vehicle? Let's go with vehicle. That sounds more accurate. The description is fairly simplistic. It doesn't go over a ton of crazy details or anything like that, but it's basically designed to be a drilling platform that is mobile, which I think it looks like it'll do really well. Now, I haven't driven it or anything yet. I just pasted it in, but just on how it landed and how the wheels and stuff look, it does look like it should be able to move around pretty good. It also is supposed to somewhat double as a mining base, a mobile base as well. So that's kind of cool if you're looking for some kind of mobile base in survival or something that can also do mining. Now, there wasn't a whole lot of instructions on how to actually operate the mining machine part, but it did say that it should be an automatic drilling, so I'm imagining it's using a script, and that it can go about 60 meters down, I think. And it looks like we have this actually cool physical chute. A lot of times you see connectors that are just run through a conveyor system. This is actually kind of cool that it's just like a legitimate material chute. You would just... It looks like you'd end up firing the stuff down here, I guess. Ejector chute, spoil chute... The only thing that confuses me a little bit, though we'll have to see, is why it's facing just the ground here. I would think you'd want it going to a container or something, but maybe you're supposed to be over a collecting point when you do that. This interests me as well. There's like these piston things, but I think... And how is this working? Okay, so that's fairly simple. It looks like maybe, either clamps to hold things, to raise it up off of the wheels when you're mining or something, but also these. Are these considered large still? I guess they're large grid still. It looked like they were using a small grid hybrid, but I think I'm just not quite accustomed to half slope blocks yet. Yeah, that's even half slopes. So, yeah, I'm just not used to the half slopes yet. I don't use them very much in my own personal build, so I'm not used to looking at them a whole lot. But going through some of the different builds I've seen in the Inspiration series, it does seem like people are getting more and more familiar with where and how to properly use them so that you're kind of really making good use of them. I'm not really at that point on my own stuff. I also have a couple laser antennas. I've still never quite wrapped my head around exactly what makes these different than regular antennas and why they're better, other than I think they have a longer range and you can do like point to point or something like that. But it could just be for decorative. It's hard to tell with the Inspiration stuff because some people build things just with decorative. Now this I love. I like this a lot. So we have connectors that run to the side of the tanks. Not 100% sure why this part is here, but anyways, I really like that they added this stuff here. It kind of makes it look more like a rounded tank type of thing. I don't know. I think it's really cool. But I really do like this whole elevator thing. So here's the drill down here in case it wasn't obvious already. Which looks like it's set up on wheels and blast door blocks to allow the track to move down well, I guess. So it's not as jagged. And we've got a beacon up there. So yeah, let's go ahead and check out the inside. What is this? Is this interior walls? Yeah. This makes for a good floor. I like it. Okay, we've got the reactors and assemblers and all that kind of stuff in here. Let's see, what else? We got oxygen tanks, oxygen generators. I can't tell which end's the front, and I've been really messing this up lately on a lot of my episodes. I either post things up or paste things in upside down, or I think something's backwards. Having a really tough time with that. I thought from the outside this was the front. I would think that's the front, but it's hard to tell with some of these when they have like an aft area like this where it has flight seats and windows and stuff. Then you're like, wait, is that the front? Or is this? I think this is the front, I'm pretty sure. Medical bay, cryotube, bridge, there we go. Hallway access. Oh, this is kind of cool. Very nice. We have the cryo chambers there. We have a kind of a Star Wars Imperial style going on here, where there's like the, you know, the low-level people down below, and then you have your main people up here. Ooh, what is this? Logic Unit Mark II. Okay. Retract drill. Oh, okay. Auto bore, bore. Artificial masses. Gravity generator. Interesting. Alright, so we also have some readout panels here for while you're driving around, as well as some different screens around here for various information, damage report, etc. So it looks like we have 2 is borehole, 3 is auto bore, 4 is retract drill, 6 is loading arm, and 9 is deploy stabilizer. So I'm guessing that the deploy stabilizer, yep, that's going to be those pistons that we saw earlier. Let's see, retract drill. I don't know what the difference between the auto bore and the bore hole commands are, unless one is like it just goes until it hits max and one is more controlled. I'm not really sure, because 3 is set to on, so wouldn't that imply that the drill is already spinning? Let's go take a look before we test this out, because I'm thinking, nope, it's not. Interesting. So I don't know what the auto bore does, because it's already set to on. So unless there's some kind of command to do that specifically for something, we have camera, auto bore, retract, camera for shaft, for the drill shaft, loading arm. Ooh, loading arm. What does that do? 6. Oh! Hello! Sorry, I'm trying to get the camera to cooperate here. So that's kind of interesting. Now, I don't know where all that sound effect is coming from. Oh, whatever. That right there. So I guess that would be for loading up to either a station or from a different vehicle, maybe? Not really sure. Let's see. So here's the shaft, and then let's see, what's the command for retract 4? And deploy stabilizers we already did. So 4? Now I don't have the drill on, so let's see. I don't think that's going down. So let's turn on the drills. There we go. So once again, not really sure what the auto really does, since it's already on, and it doesn't seem to really be doing anything. Ooh, that's loud. So yeah, pretty cool overall. I think it's pretty neat. And yeah, these wheels are apparently for stabilizing the track as it goes down, so that it doesn't scrape the wall and whatnot. Pretty nifty little device, if I do say so myself. Alright, so with that, let's move on. Oh, wait, no, hold on. Before we move on, let's actually retract all that and see how it drives. Oh, hey, look at that. That's pretty cool. We're actually seeing our stuff. So, yeah, I don't really know why it's just piling up on the ground. I do feel like, I do kind of feel like that should be going somewhere, but I guess the idea would be, I don't know, that you could put crates or a collection point or something down there if you wanted to actually make this like a survival base. Not too sure. Now, I told it to retract, so it should be retracting. I want to try and drive this thing. Wow! So, this doesn't look like it's retracting, but holy crap, that goes a lot further down than I thought it did. Yeah, I gotta bring this thing back up. Alright, so, I was gonna wait till this was done, but it doesn't seem to be going anywhere, so we're just gonna try it without it being finished. So let's see how the ship actually moves around. Once again, it's always important to keep in mind what the ships are, so this is not some kind of, like, speed racing car focus type of thing, so it's probably going to move a little bit slow, but it's actually not doing too bad. Totally think that it could really work, other than you wouldn't want to take it up on crazy mountains or anything like that. But it does seem to get around okay. I feel like I'm dragging or stuck on something a little bit right here. But it could be all of the debris too, so who knows. But I think it's okay on accelerating. The turning is a little bit on the sluggish side, at least from what I'm doing right here. But anyways, that's going to do it for this one. Let's move on to the next one. Alrighty, so next up we have the CH Ferros cargo hauler. As the name implies, I feel like that's fairly self-explanatory as to the purpose of this ship. Now, it does actually have some decent weapons on it, according to the description. And, especially on the inside, though that was stated as basically because apparently it's fairly easy to get into the ship, so in order to guard the cargo, they just had a lot of interior turrets and stuff like that. But it actually has a decent amount on the outside. I'm already counting 4 Gatling turrets and 2 missiles on the top. And it looks like at least 3 or 4 Gatling turrets on the bottom. So, for a cargo ship, pretty well done. But the reason that I picked this, particularly, is the exterior design here. You guys know how much I'm a fan of kind of the busy work stuff, but I like how... Oh, by the way, I was recently introduced to the term Eepples, which is now like my new favorite word of all time. Because that basically describes all of the extra, what I used to refer to as clutter detail. Where it wasn't necessarily put there because of any particular reason, but just because it looked cool. And so, yeah, apparently in the world of graphic design and ship designs and all that kind of stuff, it's referred to as Eepples. And because... The reason it's my new favorite word is it's because it's like one of my favorite things. I mean, you look at all the cool spaceships and they just got all these little bits and bobs and stuff like this. You just got stuff everywhere. Does it connect anything? No. Does it do anything? Half these blocks aren't even complete. But no, but it looks cool. So yeah, Eepples. Favorite thing ever. But one thing I really like about this is where a lot of designs will put Eepples. It could almost turn into a drinking game. How many times I've said that this time? But a lot of designers will put it on the outside of the ship. And what I actually found intriguing about this is it's mostly on the inside, and then there's like a layer of hull plating to frame it in and keep it from actually being cluttered on the outside, which is, it's like inverted Eepples design or something. So yeah, really interesting idea there, and I found it to be very, very effective and very cool. It also kind of highlights the hull itself. Like, it makes the hull stand out as like this protective frame over top of all of the mechanical stuff. So yeah, I thought that was really neat. I thought it was really, really cool. And it was very eye-catching, and it was like, what is this ship? What is going on here? So yeah, let's check out the inside. Now, one thing that does make this a little interesting is all of the, well, I shouldn't say all, there's 3 connectors, 2 on the sides and 1 on the bottom, that are actually connected with pistons, so when you go to dock, you could actually extend the connector. So that's pretty cool. And it probably makes it a little bit easier to dock, because you could basically lock the connector and then kind of pull your ship to the dock rather than trying to line everything up directly. This is like leading outside, so I'm gonna go with maintenance access because, yeah, I mean, you could get sucked into space. So, maintenance. This would be a very important airlock not to open incorrectly, because if that was pressurized, bye-bye. You'd end up flying through space. Okay, I imagine this is the same on both sides. Strikes me as a symmetrical ship. Yep, looks like it. And yes, I'm very aware that I just mentioned that that's a very important airlock, that I opened it incorrectly. For those of you that don't know, I don't really put too much stock in the keeping everything pressurized when I'm doing one of these inspiration showcases, just because I'm not gonna die or anything, so who cares. Ooh, we've got a couple screens here. I don't know if they're supposed to be giving us any readout, but they're not. I do so like good mood lighting. I know I've said it before, that I just realized that looks like it should go somewhere and it doesn't. Interesting. But no, I've mentioned it before that I really like to show off the atmosphere that the builder was going for, but I know sometimes on video it gets kind of dark and it's hard to see, so... And frankly, I'm lazy and don't feel like doing a lot of color correction and stuff, so... But yeah. It also, the description also mentioned that there was an air leak somewhere that the builder could not figure out where it was. I'm not 100% convinced that it's not some kind of glitch, because to me, in my personal experience, the whole pressurization can be a little bit on the buggy side when something just doesn't fit quite right. I am a little perplexed as how many of these doorways lead to just open space. It's not really like... I guess this is for cargo access, so you can get to the containers, maybe? But it's one of those, like, if you stepped off here, ah! You know, and you're kind of open to... I mean, I know there's airlocks and everything, so you wouldn't actually have to worry about, you know, not being aware that it's like, oh, that goes out into space. It's like, well, that's what the airlocks are for. I'm just a little more surprised that it just kind of drops off. There's no, I don't know, stairway, catwalk, something that kind of makes it more like a walkway. But it's not really 100% necessary or anything. But, you know. So, yeah. Ooh, this is kind of cool. There is one mod in here, which is the weapon rack center. I don't believe that would be necessary, though, if you wanted it to be a completely vanilla build. The last one we did, the mining base, was a vanilla build, and this one could be minus the weapon rack. So, technically speaking, it does have a mod, but it's not 100% necessary. It's mostly cosmetic. So we have the lights, engineering lights, gyro lights. They really need to change up how this is displayed. It's hard to read. Highlights for corner lights. Oh, that's good. Keep your headlamps on and then try and figure out where the light's coming from. I don't see a difference. Maybe that's on the exterior. I'm not 100% sure why the medical room is upside down, but, you know, to each their own, I suppose. I guess if you were in, if you turned the gravity off on the ship, it wouldn't matter and you wouldn't notice. Alright, so let's take her for a spin. I do really like the design of the ship, though. Again, I wouldn't like it if it was some kind of, fighter or a capital ship or something, but for a hauling kind of vessel, it really looks good. It looks like a hauler. And I really do like the, inverted Eepples setup, where it's kind of all done on the inside and then the hull kind of wraps around it. That's a very interesting... I've seen a few builds that did something similar, but I always kind of... my eye always catches it every time somebody does it. It's like, ooh, what is that? Alright, so on the panel here, hydrogen thrusters, ion thrusters. extending connectors, top deck connectors. Oh, okay, these are the actual connection things. Antennas, front landing gear pistons, turrets, landing gear, emergency beacon, lights, left side, bottom, and right side connectors, and then we've got the jump drives. Alright, so fairly simple. Wow. Okay, so for acceleration, really good. Deceleration, not too shabby. Actually, it's a little slower than your acceleration, but not too bad. Movement, surprisingly nimble for a big heavy cargo hauler. Now, I don't know what it would do laden, but for the way it is right now, it actually moves pretty good. Alright, so I think that's going to do it for this one. Let's move on to the last one. Alright, so last but not least, we have the MPW Archimedes Warship. As the name implies, much like the cargo hauler, should be fairly obvious what this ship is for, just by frickin' looking at it. It looks like a beast. It is a warship. Now, first disclaimer is this is a fairly performance-heavy build. It looks like my sim speed is probably doing okay, but my frame rate is a little on the sluggish side, just because this thing is massive. Where am I? Where's my little character? So, you know, it's a huge ship, lots of guns, lots of parts. Good lord at the guns, actually. Holy crap. Good grief. Now, one interesting aspect to this ship as well, aside from the aesthetic design, which is really cool looking, I mean, this one, there's not quite so much in terms of, like, greeble design as much as there is in just some interesting hull design. Like, you've got the raised platforms, and you got these engine sections with this little ribbing and stuff going on. So it's got some detail, but it's not really a lot of clutter detail. It's more just decorative. Ooh. The back is so pretty. That's a cool thruster layout, actually. But you'll notice the bubble around it. One interesting thing that I can't say I've ever seen done before, at least not in Space Engineers, is this ship actually utilizes two different shield mods, so that it actually has a primary and a secondary shield, not unlike, for all you Star Trek fans out there, not unlike the Scimitar from Star Trek Nemesis that had dual shields. I was like, that's a little overkill, I think. I mean, you're gonna kill everything before it probably gets through one layer of shield with all these guns, but, you know, I mean, when you're making a warship, why show restraint? And there's also, let's see, we've also got these missile racks down here. Like, just don't get on the side of this ship. That's the thing. It has 360-degree point defense according to the description, but the side of it seems like a bad place to be if you're not on its side. Actually, even if you're on its side, I'm not sure I'd want to be there because it still seems very dangerous. So let's go ahead and take a peek on the inside now. One thing I will say is this ship... Oh, weird. I wonder why there was a delay there. Oh, it's an auto script thing. Okay. One thing that I have never seen actually used before, it's a fairly new mod to me, not that it's new, but is it uses an intersection passageway mod that actually allows for, let's actually see if I can, yeah, enclosed passage airlock. Enclosed passage, lighted passage. Lit. It's lit. Sorry, it's a pet peeve of mine. So if I turn my lights off, you'll see that we don't have any interior light blocks in here, yet it is still a lit passageway. And we have, it's a separate airlock that connects to the next part. We have an intersection here. I love this mod. Absolutely love this mod. There's even stairway passages. Like, it's just, I love it. As soon as I saw this and was like, what mod is this? And I had to download the mods in order to use the blueprint. And when I started poking my nose around and trying to figure out what all the options were and stuff and what I was downloading, I was like, what is this? And I started looking around and I was like, why? Why is this not in vanilla? Why did no one do this sooner? This is amazing. Because I have always liked the look of the passageway, but it was always kind of a one-note block. It was hard to... Okay, this is... Oh, and this is an airlock, vented one. Passageway with air vent. You can see the air vent right there. I love this mod. This mod is so flippin' cool. And it really makes me wonder. We've even got some angled side panel. Like, I honestly, if Keen's listening, they need to add this. Like, I buy it from the modder. I don't care. But this needs to go into vanilla. I think this is so cool. And yeah, it should be in every ship. Now, grant you, it even has windows. Window passage ones. Now, I will say, this is not inherently restricted to this particular ship. It's not something that makes this particular ship stand out, other than the fact that it's using it when others really aren't yet, that I know of. This looks like a hangar bay, maybe? Because it does hold multiple hangar bays. I think there's like 6 or something. It really does remind me of like a Space Engineers version of this. Wow, it's dark in here. Holy crap. I even have my headlamps on and I still can't get anything lit up. I hope you guys can see it okay. Oh, wow. This is super dark. Well, this episode just took a dark turn. I'll move on now. So, yeah, it does kind of remind me of like a Space Engineers version of like the Scimitar, because I've been on a bit of a Star Trek kick personally lately, and I recently went back and watched Nemesis, and for those of you that aren't aware, the thing is just a beast, and for those of you that are, I think we can all agree. It was definitely an overkill ship, where it was like, do we really need all this stuff? And someone went, no, but it's cool. So, yeah, it does kind of remind me of that. It's like, it has hangars, it has dual shields, it's, you know... Did we go this way? I think this might be the main entryway. So let's go up. I don't really know what all the ship has in terms of interior, so we're gonna kind of poke around. I feel like I'm missing something, though, because it looked like there was a glass... Ooh, I just realized this glass floor. Glass floor. Glass floor. Glass. Okay, we know how this rates in my book. But I thought there was a glass, like, observatory type area on the nose, but I don't see how to get there from here. I feel like I went down all the different paths, but... who knows? I mean, it's not really much of a stretch to think that I missed something. Especially... oh, you know what? It's that intersection area. We backed up. That's what it is. Okay. Now if I can find the intersection. There it is. Alright, cool. Yeah, I don't think we went through all this stuff. Okay, so we have kind of like a battle bridge thing over here, and I've seen this recently in another mod, so I know this is the controller table for the shields, and then this thing up here is the shield LCD. So it's basically a shield readout for one of the shield mods. I forget which one. I believe it's the one that creates the bubble? Or possibly not. Maybe it's the other one. I'm not really sure. We have a big ominous room here. With one cryo chamber. Let's see, we've got little paths down here to either very simple crew quarters or brig. I'm not sure. I wouldn't say brig only because there's no real lock on the doors or anything like that, so I'm guessing they're just simple crew quarters and the crew doesn't get anything special. Would be my assumption. But man, if we don't have quite the expansive area here, oh my. Now I believe this one also makes use of the 1000% gyroscope. Yeah, so all of these are 1000% stronger than regular gyroscopes, so... I don't know, either all of this is necessary and this is all of the gyroscopes for a ship this large and it makes it passable, or this thing's actually going to move really well. Ooh! What is this? Passage extension. Oh, you can do bigger one. I love this mod. Seriously, this needs to be vanilla. It just does. It needs to be added. We added corner lights. Let's make it happen. Everybody should pester him about it. Probably not. That's probably not a good idea. I just think it's really cool. But I don't know. Where's this going? Oh! Okay. This is actually a double airlock. Nope. Not a double. I just saw too many green lights. Alright, so we do have an observatory type area here. It's a little more empty than I was expecting. But, I mean, it makes sense. Oh, we got dual layered glass too. Smart. I like it. Okay, so let's make our way back to the bridge and see how this behemoth flies. Okay, so back here on the bridge, and it also should have been a little bit apparent because of the types of weapons and things, but there are mods to this build. Yep. Yeah. I just felt the need to say that, even though I just spent probably the last 10 minutes going through why this mod needs to be invented. Just ignore me. Just don't. Just pay attention to the cool ships. I don't know what I'm talking about. So we have a jump drive. Hashtag jump drive. I wonder if that was done on purpose or not. Sometimes it's just a naming convention, but it sounded kind of funny. Now, oh, it's got to be part of a script or something that they have hashtags or something on them, or pound symbols, whatever. I'm a little surprised. Guided target painter. Oh, those aren't missiles. Oh. Well, now. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Shoot. Oh, and to put shoot once. I don't want to overload my system. I'm a little surprised that these are not set up to where you can use them already. Unless it was just for kind of like a test show type thing, but haven't really actually tried them out. I don't know. I'm a little curious about that. Okay, and then what are... Oh, these are... Okay, some of these are torpedoes. Alright. Let's test movement first. So speed... Wow. 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 Okay, so speed is not that great. It's okay. Turning and maneuverability for a ship this size is incredible. I mean, that's about like a Corvette style movement. But for a ship that you can kind of see on the right panel there, the weight, it's friggin' huge. Speed-wise, it's a little sluggish, though. It's not too bad for considering the size of the ship. Oh, that just looks awesome. Size of the ship, it's very understandable, but it is still a little bit on the slower side for acceleration. Alright, let's start testing weapons. Now, I don't know what the guided paint things does. I'm guessing it's laser painting for a target. But let's try and fire the turrets and hope we don't blow anything up. I just blew something up. I don't know what I blew up, though. It was like facing the wrong way, maybe? I can't actually zoom in any further, so we're just going to have to leave it. I can't seem to get these to respond. I'm wondering if they're controlled via scripts. And that they're all set up to essentially be fired through that laser painting. Whoop! Something fired. I heard it. Oh, there it is. Ooh! What is that? I guess that's a torpedo. Well, that's pretty awesome. So yeah, I would have liked to have tested out more of the weaponry, but I think they're possibly automated? I'm not too sure. But if your system can handle it, I definitely recommend you checking this one out because it's really cool looking and it's a monster. But with that, we're going to wrap things up here for this episode. One quick plug that I want to make is for those of you that may not be aware, I did start a new series where we take one of the ships from the Inspiration series and basically go into further detail and really break everything down on the building techniques and stuff like that. So if you watch that one and you like that episode, be sure to I'm not sure exactly how I want to do it, but basically I'm going to have a poll. So there should be a card up in the window right about now, where you can go ahead and pick one of these 3 ships and vote for which one you would like to see in more detail, broken down and really taken apart as far as how the building techniques work and some of the cooler aspects of the ship in greater detail. And so the way I'm going to basically be doing it, at least if I continue to do that series, if it gets a good response from everybody and everybody wants to see more, is I'm going to pull one of these builds from the inspiration episodes for, like, for example, this week, all of one of these 3 builds, and then next Tuesday will be an episode of the dissection series, or whatever I'm going to end up calling it, where we'll take the one that you guys all voted for, that you wanted to see more broken down in more detail the most, and then we'll do that one. And that gives me a week to let you guys, or close to a week, to let you guys kind of cast your votes and all that, and get a pretty good read on what everybody wants to see, because if it's too divisive, sometimes it's hard to figure it out, so I like to give it a decent amount of time, so it's not like in 24 hours I know what I'm doing. Because usually then the votes could change and all that kind of stuff. So, if you like that series and you want to see more of that series, do be sure to use the poll on the card, because it's a little bit more convenient and easier for everybody to use than trying to do anything, out of the video. But with that, we're going to wrap up this episode here. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, and I will see you all next time. Peace.